Imagine paying more than $1,000 a night for a cruise and getting a smaller cabin, fewer shows, less technology, and a ship that looks less flashy than the one you normally sail on. That does not exactly scream ultra-luxury, does it? Most regular cruisers assume paying that much means getting more of everything, but ultra-luxury cruising often means the opposite. Fewer passengers, fewer announcements, fewer queues, less upselling, and staff who remember your name without needing an app to tell them who you are. Even the passengers, food and dress codes are not quite what many people expect. So are ultra-luxury cruises genuinely worth the huge price? Or are you paying thousands more for a quieter ship and a crew member who knows how you take your coffee? Today, we're comparing regular and ultra-luxury cruises through 7 differences that surprise regular cruisers most. And stay for number 7, because that is where the real value of ultra-luxury finally starts to make sense. If you love cruising, press the like button and let's get into it. Number 1. Paying more can actually get you a smaller cabin. This is one of the strangest things about ultra-luxury cruising. You pay more than $1,000 a night. You see the word suite, and naturally, you imagine a separate bedroom, a large living room, and enough space to unpack without your suitcase becoming part of the furniture. But that is not always what you get. On many ultra-luxury ships, almost every cabin is called a suite. Some are beautifully finished, with premium bedding, larger bathrooms, and excellent service. But the entry-level ones can feel more like oversized balcony cabins with a sofa beside the bed. For roughly the same price, a regular cruise line may offer a much larger, proper suite with a separate bedroom, bigger balcony, and far more private space. So why would anyone pay more for a smaller cabin? Because on an ultra-luxury cruise, you are not only paying for the room, you are paying for fewer passengers, almost no queues, more crew, included extras, and service that feels far more personal. On a regular cruise, upgrading often buys you more cabin. On an ultra-luxury cruise, it buys you more calm across the whole ship. That is why you should never trust the word suite on its own. Check the floor plan. Check the actual size. Check whether the living area is genuinely separate or just a chair facing the bed. Because paying more does not always buy you a bigger room. Sometimes it buys you a smaller cabin, with far fewer people outside it. Number 2. The ship may look less luxurious than you expected. This can feel confusing the moment you walk on board. You paid ultra-luxury prices, so you expect a huge atrium, sparkling chandeliers, dramatic staircases, and something expensive hanging from the ceiling for no clear reason. Instead, the ship may look surprisingly simple. Muted colors, quiet lounges, understated decor. No water park, no giant glass attraction, no neighborhood full of trees. And your first thought might honestly be, is this it? Regular cruise ships often try to create an instant wow moment. They use huge theaters, flashy attractions, bright public spaces, and features designed to make passengers stop and take photos. Ultra-luxury ships usually take a completely different approach. They feel more like quiet boutique hotels at sea. Smaller, calmer, elegant without trying to impress you every 5 seconds. The money is not necessarily going into giant attractions. It is going into more space per passenger, fewer crowds, quieter public areas, better materials, and more personal service. The luxury is not always something you can photograph. Sometimes it is finding a pool chair immediately, walking into a lounge and getting a seat, eating dinner without joining a queue that looks like half the ship heard the lobster was free. That is the real difference. Regular ships often impress you with what they have added. Ultra-luxury ships often impress you with what they have removed. The crowds, the noise, the queues, the constant announcements, the feeling that every empty corner needs another shop, attraction, or sales desk. So do not judge an ultra-luxury ship during the first 5 minutes. It may not give you the dramatic wow moment you expected. But after a few peaceful days without queues, noise, and thousands of passengers around you, that quiet little boutique hotel at sea may start feeling far more luxurious than it first looked. Number 3. The entertainment can feel shockingly limited. This could be the biggest disappointment for the wrong passenger. On a regular cruise ship, it can feel like something is happening every 5 minutes. Trivia, pool games, live music, comedy, dance classes, production shows, parties, lectures, and at least one activity you walk past and think, who decided people needed this at sea? On some large regular ships, there can be around 80 scheduled activities in a single day. Ultra-luxury cruising is very different. The daily program may be much lighter. You might get trivia, an enrichment talk, a craft class, some live music, and a smaller song and dance show in the evening. But you are unlikely to find giant Broadway-style productions, water slides, huge deck parties, or endless activities running from breakfast until midnight. The evenings are often built around a long dinner, drinks, and conversation. Which sounds wonderful, unless you were hoping to be entertained every second of the day. That is the surprise. You can pay far more for an ultra-luxury cruise and get far less entertainment. Not worse entertainment. Just less of it. And for some passengers, that feels peaceful. There is no pressure to rush from lunch, to trivia, to a show, to dinner, and then to another show, because apparently relaxing now requires a timetable. But for passengers who love busy ships, ultra-luxury can feel too quiet. By 10 o'clock at night, you might be looking around thinking, is everyone going to bed, or have I accidentally missed the party? So before paying ultra-luxury prices, look at recent daily programs from the cruise line. Check the shows, the nightlife, and how many activities normally run on sea days. Because if you love constant entertainment, a large regular ship may actually give you much more of what you enjoy. But if your dream cruise is a slow dinner, a quiet lounge, and never hearing a poolside competition through a loudspeaker, less entertainment might be exactly what luxury feels like. Number 4. Luxury can mean less technology, not more. This was one of the most unexpected differences. You pay ultra-luxury prices, so you might expect the smartest app, the newest technology, and a digital system that can practically order your dinner before you realize you are hungry. But ultra-luxury ships can actually be much lower tech. Regular cruise lines increasingly rely on apps for check-in, daily activities, menus, dining reservations, shore excursions, drink packages, Wi-Fi, and even excursion tickets. On some ships, you can barely go 10 minutes without someone saying, "Have you checked the app?" Princess even uses the medallion, which helps open your cabin, make purchases, place orders, and allows crew to identify you. Ultra-luxury lines can feel completely different. Regent 7 Seas did not even have a proper app during the comparison. Silversea had a basic system, but it was more like a collection of web pages showing menus and daily programs. And strangely, that did not make the cruise feel less luxurious. It made it feel more personal. Instead of opening an app, you speak to a crew member. Instead of making every reservation yourself, someone helps arrange it. Instead of technology telling staff your name, the staff may actually remember it. That is the difference. Regular cruise lines use technology to manage thousands of passengers quickly. Ultra-luxury ships have fewer passengers, so the crew can spend more time dealing with you directly. For some people, that feels wonderful. You can put your phone away, stop checking notifications, and enjoy the cruise without feeling like you are carrying the ship's control panel in your pocket. But for passengers who love organizing everything through an app, it may feel surprisingly old-fashioned. So ultra-luxury does not always mean more technology. Sometimes it means needing less of it. Because there is an actual person ready to help. Number 5. The food is better, but all-inclusive still has limits. This is where ultra-luxury usually earns some of its price. The menus are larger, the ingredients feel more premium, more dishes are made to order, and the kitchen can often adjust sauces, vegetables, and sides to suit you. You may also find touches you rarely see on regular ships, like caviar breakfasts, elaborate brunches, and high-end ingredients without an extra charge beside every second item. But here is the surprise. Ultra-luxury does not always mean every dining experience is included. On Regent 7 Seas, the specialty restaurants were included, but passengers were initially limited to one reservation at each venue, with extra bookings depending on availability. On Silversea, some specialty restaurants still charged extra. Premium wines may also cost more, even when regular drinks are included. And one unexpected downside was the lack of a casual evening buffet. On both ultra-luxury ships in the comparison, the buffet became a waiter-served Italian restaurant at night. So if you wanted a quick, informal dinner in shorts, with no reservation and no long meal, your options were more limited. That is the important difference. Ultra-luxury food may be better in quality, choice, and personalization, but it does not always give you more freedom. Before booking, check which restaurants are included, how many reservations you receive, what drinks cost extra, and whether casual evening dining is available. Because all-inclusive can still come with limits. They are just served on much nicer plates. Number 6. The passengers are less snooty and less formal than you think. A lot of regular cruisers imagine ultra-luxury passengers wearing designer clothes, discussing fine art, and quietly judging anyone who orders the wrong wine. But the reality is far more normal. You still get chair hogs by the pool. People still watch videos without headphones. Cabin doors still get slammed. And passengers still become extremely competitive over trivia prizes they could probably afford to buy themselves. That may be the biggest surprise. Ultra-luxury passengers enjoy many of the same things as regular cruisers. Trivia, live music, shows, enrichment talks, and collecting points for branded merchandise were all popular. Money may change the cruise fare. But apparently, it does not change the excitement of winning a free cap. The dress code may also be less formal than expected. On Regent 7 Seas, passengers could wear jeans and polo shirts to dinner, which can actually feel more relaxed than some regular cruise lines. Most guests were well-traveled and financially comfortable, but they were not walking around trying to prove it. Many had simply moved from larger ships because they wanted fewer children, less noise, more space, and a slower pace. They still wanted good food, comfortable cabins, interesting ports, friendly people, and a nice evening show. Just without 3,000 other passengers wanting the same thing at once. So do not assume an ultra-luxury cruise will feel like joining a floating private club where everyone owns a vineyard. The passengers are usually more familiar than you expect. They may have paid much more for the cruise, but they still want the same pool chair you do. Number 7. You are paying for calm, space, and attention, not more attractions. This is the difference that finally explains the price. Ultra-luxury cruises can cost more than $1,000 a night. But you are not necessarily getting a larger cabin, more restaurants, bigger shows, or more activities. You're paying for fewer people. Regular cruise ships may carry anywhere from 2,000 to 7,000 passengers. Ultra-luxury ships may carry only 400 to 1,000, and you feel that difference everywhere. There are almost no queues. You can find a seat by the pool. You can walk into a lounge without circling the room. You can eat without waiting behind half the ship. And crew members have enough time to learn your name, remember what you drink, and notice what you prefer. That is what the premium is really buying. Not more noise, less noise. Not more choices. Fewer crowds competing for the choices that are there. Not more technology, more actual people helping you. You're also paying for fewer sales pitches. There may be no photographers chasing you through dinner, fewer package promotions, and less pressure to upgrade every part of the cruise. Nobody is trying to sell you a teeth-whitening session while you're looking for breakfast. For some passengers, that calm feeling is worth every dollar. For others, it is not. If you love huge shows, water parks, late-night parties, endless activities, and dozens of dining venues, a regular cruise may give you far more excitement for much less money. But if you hate queues, crowds, announcements, constant upselling, and fighting for a pool chair, ultra-luxury may feel completely different. That is the real question. Are you paying for more things? Not really. You're paying for more space around you, more attention from the crew, and fewer people getting in the way of your holiday. So, are ultra-luxury cruises worth it? They can be, but only if calm, space, and personal service are the luxuries you actually want.